everyone, so we are from Group 2 and we're going to present our discussion about different platforms, different readings, a comparative analysis of news consumption. But before that, here I'm going to talk about what contents that we're going to talk about here. So the first one is I will introduce my team, introduction, website, Instagram post, TikTok video, YouTube podcast, how readers receive and interpret news, narrative elements and metaphors across platforms, and the last one is about the conclusions. So the first thing is I will introduce my team. So there's myself as a speaker with the last student ID number is 023. The next one is Dita Aulia with the last student ID number is 043. Kinanti Dewi with the last student ID number is 022. Naila Rizkia with the last student ID number is 109. And Ashifa Kamila with the last student ID number is 102. So the first thing is I'm going to tell you about the introduction of our discussion. So as we know that today's news environment give the readers many choices because we can find the news like from online websites and social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and also YouTube. So I think based on each platforms is give their own way for an information, and also it is based on how the readers read the news itself. So I think it is true that if we have different kind of platforms, so we will have different kind of reading.
Everyone, my name is Ashifa Kamila. Today I'm going to explain about news on website. So basically, news website is a site on the internet where news is written and published so people can easily read and update information, story, and event that happening around them. And today, I'm going to explain about the characteristic reading techniques, engagement, and the narrative style news on website. News on website is characterized by structure and verified reporting, where information moves from a clear headline and lead into context, evidence, and expert explanation. And readers typically scan the lead to the graphs the center point and then navigate selectively through subheadings, data, or analysis depending on their needs. Engagement is limited because interaction happens only after reading, usually through moderate comments, creating a slower and more controlled feedback environment. And the last, the narrative style is more linear and explanatory, linking cause to an effect and events within a broader political or social context. Altogether, this format supports depth, clarity, and analytical understanding in a way that discussions website news from more reactive digital platform.
Saya Dita Lestari dengan NPM 1804 1024 0043. Characteristic and reading techniques. The Instagram posts from Volkative represent a vast and visually driven way of consuming news. Volkative uses bold layouts, clear graphics, and short captions to simplify complex topics for young audiences. Since the information is delivered through carousel slides, readers tend to process it quickly by swiping, scanning, summarize, and paying attention to visual cues such as color, icons, and bold keywords. Instead of long paragraph, the design itself guides the audience through the main ideas in just a few seconds.
Here, I will continue about what Dita have said about Instagram posts. So here, I'm going to talk about the engagement and the narrative style itself of Instagram posts from Volkative. I think for the engagement, Volkative success like give the readers much attention because we already know that Volkative have many likes, comments, and also they create like social proof, and also they have call to action phrases like swipe, read more, and what do you think? And I think if they have like many kind of words that informal, I think it's relatable tone that encourages like the discussion itself. And the last one is visibility that I think it boosted by the algorithm due to the high engagement. And the next one is the narrative style. I think Volkative uses like a narrative style that feels personal and much of emotional engaging because I think they all words like easy to understand. So because the conversation tone aim for Gen Z and also millennials, and they use like simple metaphors and comparisons to clarify ideas, and also the story like flow across carousel slides, and the last one they use minimalistic but expressive visuals reinforcing narrative meaning.
Hello, my name is Naila Rizkia Setiawan. I will present an analysis of a viral news content related to Indonesia's Makan Bergizi Gratis or MBG program. The news centers on a statement made by the Deputy Speaker of the Indonesian House of Representatives, Cucut Ahmad Samsurizal, who said during an official meeting that the MBG program does not need nutritionists, and that even high school graduates could be trained for only 3 months to take over the role. This sentiment quickly spread across digital platforms and triggered strong public reaction. From a social media analysis perspective, the video demonstrates several characteristics. First, the raw and unedited nature of the recording gives it a sense of authenticity. The shaky camera, background noise, and the speaker's confrontational tone make viewers feel like they are witnessing the moment firsthand. Second, the reading technique on TikTok is fast and reactive. People consume content in seconds, rely on subtitles, on tone of voice, and immediately form judgments. This environment makes controversial clips spread even faster. In terms of engagement, the videos stimulate massive participation, live stitches, reaction videos, and thousands of comments from nutrition students, health workers, and the general public. Their responses range from anger to disappointment, and many try to explain the scientific importance of trained nutritionists. The narrative style also contributed to virality. The speaker used authoritative and confrontational language, repeatedly emphasizing power, such as "I just need to use the gavel and it's done." This narrative creates a sense of tension and conflict, which is highly shareable in digital space. Overall, the video became a national discussion not only about MBG but also about professionalism and public policy. It shows how TikTok can transform a short moment into a wide-scale public debate through emotion-driven virality.
My name is Kinanti Rohani, and the last numbers of my student ID number is 022. So we're moving on to YouTube podcast, and before we get to know the YouTube podcast aspects, I'm going to explain about the definition of YouTube itself. So YouTube is a website where people can upload, watch, and share videos. Viewers can comment, like videos, and follow creators. For many creators, YouTube functions as a hybrid space that blends entertainment, information, and personal expression. Now I'm going to talk about YouTube podcast aspects. The first one is YouTube podcast characteristic. On YouTube and in podcasts, creators often share information from their own perspective, adding personal feelings and opinions. They also use a friendly conversational tone in their videos and also use a flexible structure with side comments or storytelling. The goal is to keep the content entertaining and engaging. The next one is reading technique used in podcasts. When presenting information, creators scan for key details and then break the text into small parts and paraphrase difficult ideas into simpler words. They use emphasis to highlight important points and add visual support like subtitles or images to help viewers follow along. Moving on to engagement on YouTube. Creators engage their audiences in several ways. They encourage discussions in the comment section, and they also use polls and community posts to get quick responses from viewers. Many creators also show reactions to audience feedback, which makes viewers feel heard. Also, there's live streams, which allow direct and real-time interaction, while storytelling prompts invite audiences to share their own experience and stay involved. Last but not least, narrative style used on YouTube and podcasts. Creators often use clear narrative styles. Like I said before, they tell stories in first-person perspective, sharing events from their own point of view. Also, they use conversational tone, which makes the audience feel relaxed and included. They also use an emotional appeal, adding feelings or reactions to keep the story engaging. And finally, they rely on visual support, such as images or text on the screen, to help the audiences follow the story more easily.
How readers receive and interpret news. Readers interpret news differently across platforms. On news websites, people usually look for full explanations and complete context. They read more carefully, verify sources, and often respond through comments or discussions. This leads to a more analytical and detail-focused interpretations. On social media, however, news is received much faster and often more emotionally. Algorithms determine visibility, viral trends shape reactions, and comment sections strongly influence how readers interpret the story. As a result, many users interpret news emotionally first before thinking critically. This shows how the platform itself affects the tone and meaning audiences take away. Narrative elements and metaphors across platforms. News websites typically use descriptive and structured narratives. Their headlines, paragraphs, and explanations guide readers through a clear perspective, making the information feel organized and reliable. On social media, on the other hand, uses stronger metaphors, dramatic visuals, and short, impactful phrases to capture attention. For example, a TikTok video discussing an issue in the House of Representatives might display a bold caption like "Bikin sakit hati, Ketua DPR sebut tak butuh ahli gizi." This type of framing creates instant emotional impact and shapes viewers' interpretation within seconds. These differences show how each platform uses narrative elements differently to engage and influence the audience.
So here we're on the conclusion of our discussion. So all in all, different news platforms require different reading techniques, such as social media promotes fast, emotional, and visual consumption, and online news offers like balance between speed and depth. But therefore, to be critical readers, we must adapt our techniques depending on the format, such as the first one is scan smartly on news websites, the second one is verify information beyond social media, and the last one is use some kind of like printed media for deeper understanding, so that a well-rounded news consumer uses multiple platforms and understands how each shapes the message. So here I'm going to show you like the table summary of our discussion for today. So the aspects about online news website and also social media. So the aspect itself is the first thing about the reading style. For online news, it is like scanning and selective, but for social media, it is more emotional, fast, and visual. The second one is for the engagement itself. For online news or website is more like interactive, but for social media is highly interactive and more social. And the next aspect is speed. For online news website is very fast, but for social media is instant and viral. And the last aspect is about the narrative devices. For online news or websites, it's like concise and click-driven metaphors. And the last one is social media. It is more have like dramatic visual and emotional hook. So I think that's all for the presentations from our group. Sorry if there are any mistakes. Hope you understand and thank you.